that chapter. I feel like there was a lot of great things that happened during that chapter of being on the board. And so now I'm excited to see what the new year has in store, and what I can dabble into now that I got a little bit of extra time.
Sounds amazing. Well, congratulations to you, because I know you serve well. Gabby, one thing I know about you, baby, you're going to serve. Whatever God's called you to, you're going to serve with your whole heart. And that's appreciated in this country. That's appreciated. So congratulations, because it's going to open the door for more for you. So congratulations.
Appreciate that.
So let's talk about the fun part. Let's talk about, when are we going to be seeing, or if people already have, then I'm late to the party. But when are we going to see even more so of Alpha Chronicles podcast?
So it's funny that you bring that up, because Cornelius, that's on this too, I think he's still on there. I think Cornelius is still on there. He is one of my Chronicles brothers. So him and Fred Foreman. Yeah. So Alpha Chronicles kind of just came about, like, I don't even know, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. We were all talking, and it's like the Lord laid it in my spirit. I'm an alpha female. I totally am. I'm independent. I get stuff done. It is what it is. Now, I don't want people to get it twisted, because a lot of times they think alpha female means not submissive and blah, 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 all that other crap. No, not at all. Like, I'm completely submissive to my husband and to the Lord and things like that. But at the same time, like, I am totally an alpha. I don't need to ask permission to make a decision. Like, I'm just going to do it. So I'm very independent. And so it was one of those things where I was just like, you know what? This gets such a bad rep. Like, being a large and in charge type female nowadays gets such a bad rep. People think that's, you're let's just be honest, a derogatory term, right? B word, or you're, other horrible things that are just not so, and they don't look at it from a perspective of, like, to me, being an alpha female is more so walking in the boldness that God gave me and making things happen. And so the B for me is blessed. You know what I mean? It's boss. It's, it's going above and beyond, and making sure that, like, if I have that type of personality where I'm a go-getter and I strive for X, Y, and Z, and I want to get it done, why is that looked at negatively? So I talked to Cornelius and Fred about it, and they were like, oh my gosh, I love that. And they're very much alpha males. So we actually structured it perfectly to where it will be the two gentlemen on the outside and me in the middle, me being the only female for the podcast, given that, like, hard female perspective, and having two guys on the other side almost kind of like supporting me. So it's like that flip role reversal, but both of them are so dynamic and, like, powerful. It's going to be amazing. We're excited. We're going to launch it early in the new year. But it's just going to be a podcast literally talking about, what it means to be, in charge of family, faith, your business, how do we not get burnt out? What does it look like to walk in, do your ministry, basically, right? Because everything that we do, you do it for the glory of the Lord. And so each and every day, each of my businesses, I don't really call them a business. They're a ministry. People ask me all the time, like, girl, like, how did you, you're going on your 8th year. Like, what is the secret? And I'm just like, God, like, I don't know. I really don't know, but it's God. That's the only secret, So we definitely have a faith component. My dogs are going crazy. Jingle, stop. We definitely have a faith component of, see, that's real life, y'all. That is real life, right? Have a faith component of the podcast, where we talk about, all the things for, and how we don't, how we don't let society kind of take us down and things like that, and how we kind of overcome those types of things.
I love that. Now, I'm so happy you went there, because I was going to go there, but that's why I love you, man, because you went there. Because I feel like a lot of us as believers, right?
Yeah, totally.
We get to this, okay, well, I can't be, a certain way, because then I'm looked upon as da-da-da. But it's like, whoa, what has God called you? Because I'm definitely, people have called me, Gab, you're the queen of execution. Like, if you just talk to her, she's going to get it done. Like, she's not going to play with you. Like, she don't have time for excuses. Like, she gets it done. That's exactly correct. Because I don't have time. Like, the Lord, I look at it like this way. And people say I'm too deep. But I look at it like, the Lord didn't have excuses, so why should I? Like, the Lord's not lazy, so why should I be? I don't want to entertain the spirit of procrastination or poverty mindset or laziness.
Totally.
Like, that's not the Lord. So why would I want to entertain that? Now, I do get it. I've learned how to grace myself. I've learned how to
Right.
rest and not say yes to everything, because everything is not supposed to, happen all in once. Rome wasn't built in a day. Yes.
Right.
However, if things didn't get done and I'm waiting on you to do something that you said you would do, it's like, okay, I'll get someone else.
Right.
No problem. God
Right.
bless you. I understand you're going through something. I'll get someone else. But it's like some people look at that like, oh, like you ghosted me. Like, dang, I was trying. I was going through something. And I'm like, well, just communicate that to me. So I feel like
Totally.
believers have to work on, and me, myself included, we all have to work on communicating what we need and what our expectations are of the person, so that we will not get disappointed and we won't get in the rut of, oh, here they go again. It's more of like, nah, you knew the fruit and the character of that person before you asked. So we have to kind of reel it back and say, ooh, we have to realize we need someone else to do that task or that event or whatever it is. And
Right.
sometimes we have to be willing to teach people even when they refuse or resist or say no to it. We have to be willing to say, listen, let me help you. Because if you
Right.
don't get the help now, people will not want to take you seriously in corporate or in another job or in a promotion. If you won't receive the love and be trying to help you, then how can you grow forward? So
Right.
what would you say as an you're one of the most amazing, I still admire you from high school. You're one of the most
Thank
amazing go-getters when it comes to like business. So how do you do it? How do you navigate all the personalities and all of the ways people do certain things, and without it letting your business reflect what they're lacking of doing?
do it myself, which sounds horrible, but it's the truth. So there is a thing, y'all, called the colors assessment. I highly suggest you take it. It's kind of like Myers-Briggs, but I am definitely all day, every day. I am orange and blue all day, every day. Orange is that person that gets it done. Just if they didn't do it, I'm going to do it myself, because I know it'll get done. They have a very, very hard time like delegating. They have a hard time, but then you have that blue side of you where it's more empathetic and sympathetic, and you're a little bit more of a softie. So for me, because those are my two colors, I am not gold and I am not green. I recommend you guys definitely go check out the colors assessment and see what your personality is. It's great to do that with your team, because then you can see, to answer your question, what your team is. So like, for example, the main person in charge of my company is my mom, Barbara. She's just like me.
I love
Yes,
mama.
yeah, she retired from corporate a couple years ago and came to work with me full time. And she's identical to me. She's a gold and a blue. So we got two hard hitters, in the office all the time. And so between the two of us, we pretty much just get it done. But then the rest of my team is very much gold and green and very laid back, and they take direction a lot better. So it's funny. I've definitely had to learn over time, like, okay, you cannot have that orange personality all the time, Gabby. You got to be willing to delegate. I've always, and said ever since culinary school, heard the term "do what you do best and delegate the rest." That's so true.
Yes.
But it's hard when you're a an orange type mindset, because you're just like you just said, I don't want to give them unrealistic expectations and they don't complete them. They let me down. Then I'm just doing it myself. And it's like, well, freak, I should have just done it myself in the first place.
That's
So
the
it's kind of
word.
hard, but I would say for me, I learned, like, God has literally over the past 8 years given me the ability to really become adaptive, to the point where like I am, and this is horrible to admit on a podcast because I hope my staff does not watch this and take advantage. But like I have become a very much a softie to my team, because I hold myself to an expectation of I can just do it. Like, and so when they come in, and I hate to sound like this, but they come in sometimes and they're tired and they're maybe not so positive, or they're a little whiny or complaining. I'm just like, oh my gosh. You kind of have to almost baby them a little bit and say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry you're tired. And I'm just thinking, like, seriously. But they don't think the way I do. You know what I mean? To
Yeah.
them, a task that I gave them might be way stressful. It could be tiring. It could be a lot for them. To me, it's just a Tuesday, you know? And so I had to learn, like, not everyone thinks like you, Gabby. Not everyone has the work ethic like you. Not everyone has that hustle and drive where it may take them 4 hours to do something and it may take you two. That's okay. And for the longest, I was just like, what is going on? Why are they not as productive? Why is so the Lord has definitely over the course of 8 years taught me like they can just be just as productive as you, girl. It's just gonna take them longer. And
Yeah.
that's how I made them. And that's okay. And you need to come to terms with that. And so I think that's one of the hardest things as a business owner is realizing that, you know, you have to have that mindset of filling in the gaps,
Yeah.
but you also have to have that blue mindset of giving grace. Just because
Yeah.
it takes me 2 hours does not mean it's going to take them two. And if it doesn't, be sensitive and say, you're doing great. Even though you're like, man, I could have been had this done. You're doubling my payroll right now. Like, oh my gosh, you can't do that. You got to roll with it, you know? So Lord teaches me patience. He teaches me patience.
Gabby.
Teaches me, but I have a great team. Like that's my thing. I have a great team, and I think they know this about me, and so they're so kind and sweet all the time. They don't ever complain and say anything, but the Lord's definitely had to teach me over the course of 8 years as being an entrepreneur is like you got to give your staff grace and you got to give yourself grace too, you know.
Yes. Gabby, I'm laughing because girl, you sound like me. And I'd be like, Lord, I like, come on now. And I think what the Lord had to help me with is because, so we have social media. So the Lord had to help me. Because, see, I would see, certain people post stuff. I'm like, wait a minute now. You can post and edit and all this, but when I ask you something, it takes you like days to get it done. And I'm like,
Right.
what? So then I had to learn, like, okay, maybe they need help in a certain area. But then, okay, since you mentioned that, how has the Lord helped you with giving the person help in other areas when they resist the help from you as the leader of whatever it is? Because that's the area that God is continuing to still help me in realizing some people don't want help, but they need
Yeah.
help. But they
Right.
have that pride or so whatever's going on, they just don't want to understand they need help and they think they have
Right.
it. But it's like, okay, I asked you for this to be done, this
Right.
task done, and for some reason it seems like I'm getting lag or you're not keeping up with your end of what you agreed to do. So what's
Right.
that?
It's funny. It's almost like it just depends on the situation. But lately, you know, for me, I'm learning everything. And it's funny because our pastor just literally did a series on the speed of seed. I'm learning that like
Uh,
it may start with me and I plant a little seed of like, hey, I can help you with this and you can do this better or faster if you try this. And if they're resilient to it or you know, a little rejection, I planted that seed. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to water it. Someone's got to make it grow. Whether that's me sending, you know, Team Tip Tuesdays, you know, sending tips out to my teams on Tuesdays to kind of give them tips on leadership, professional development, organization, customer service, whatever. Or maybe that's, you know, in a roundabout way, you know, having a conversation with someone in the community saying, like, hey, you know, yeah, my team could really use some help on X, Y, and Z. And they're like, oh, yeah, girl, I've got a summit coming up that I'm teaching, I don't know, professional development. And it's like, yes, I'm going to send that person to a professional development summit because it's not me giving them the advice, but they'll
yeah,
hear it from someone else and then it will click. Oh, yeah, Miss Gabby did tell me last week, you know, I should probably try X, Y, and Z. Well, now I'm hearing it from this individual. Maybe if I do it, it'll make my life easier.
yeah.
So it's one of those things, you know.
That makes sense. Repetition is the father of learning. That makes sense.
Yep.
That makes
And
sense.
just plant the seed. You know, sometimes I think, you know, about past employees that I've had, you know, I can think of a few that I've planted a seed and then like years later, it's funny to see like it has grown in them. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to faith. You know, we're a faith-based
Yes.
organization. All of my
Yes.
businesses, it is not hidden. You know, when you walk into Mood Food, you got my letter right on the bar that says like, hey, you, and it's got like literally my message to that customer, you know, about, you know, praying that the Lord would bless them through health and nutrition and all the things. So it's not hidden at all that all of my businesses are we're a faith-based Christian company. And
Amen.
so it's funny because like we're at our corporate office at our Clayton location, we play Christian music all the time.
Yes.
And so it's funny to like, I've had employees in the past that maybe were not believers, but they keep hearing the songs and then they start to get curious and then that
Mhm.
seed is planted. And then over time, it has grown. I had an employee who, got mad curious and started asking me questions as time went on. And now she goes to church and she's a believer. So it makes it makes you happy to know that like, you somehow had a just a tiny little influence, in their life that will last them past whether they stay employed with you or whatever. It affected them for their whole entire life. And that's why I say like businesses should truly make sure that what they're building on is foundational, but it's also foundational in what they believe, because those are the types of things that will sustain them, not only for their future, but it'll also sustain them into a ministry, where it's not just going to work every day or it's not just a job. It is a ministry. And and when you have a ministry, you never get tired. You never feel like, you could be exhausted. Like I'm exhausted, but I'm excited to go to work tomorrow. It never feels like
Exactly.
work. You know what I mean? It feels like it's a joy. It's like, okay, cool. Who do I get to like talk to tomorrow? Or every order goes out the door. I pray over whether I'm at the kitchen or not. I stop every morning, make sure I say, Lord, whoever's eating our food today, I just pray blessings on them. I pray that if they don't know you, somehow when they put that bite of food in their mouth, they just feel your presence throughout their whole entire body, and they have, some type of curiosity, and they come to know you. And I just look at it as truly a blessing that God has given me, and it's my job, because it's not my businesses, it's his.
Come
I have four.
on.
So, having four businesses and being 33, I look at it as like these are not mine. Like these are on loan to me from God, and it's my job to steward them the way that he tells me to.
I love you so much more. Just
I love
listen
you.
to you, because I already knew this just by watching you, just observing, just looking at you. But then when you talk to her, like y'all, tap in. I know you're gonna see this on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all the things, but tap in because this woman is on fire for the Lord, y'all. Like she's really genuine. Like she's not just talking, y'all. This is her heart posture. So I want to say this because I know that someone's gonna ask this question. How in the world do you get to the place of, I have an idea, to, Lord, thank you for these four businesses? How, from point A to point B, how can someone start? Because I know there's a lot of young entrepreneurs that are, starting out, just get out of college, and they're like, Lord, I want to do what Mrs. Terry is doing. I want to be a light in this dark world. Where would they start?
Praying. First you
Mhm.
need to know what it is that God wants you to do. So once you have that purpose, I call it jump. I have a ministry that I started during COVID. It's called Jump Ministries. And literally it was because I felt like at that time, everyone was so scared and nervous about their businesses, and the Lord brought us through it. We had a restaurant at the time. We did close the restaurant. Thank the Lord it happened the way that it did. The restaurant was open 18 months and it was going great. Well, our lease was going to renew the summer, like June 14th, 15th, right around my birthday. And COVID hit like March 18th or whatever it was, 18th, 15th, somewhere in there. And so it was a blessing, or April, whenever it hit, y'all get the point. First quarter, second quarter, it was before the lease was going to renew. And I was so thankful because I'm like, oh, dear God, if I would have renewed that lease, I would have been in it another 18 months at the restaurant and gone through COVID and at the restaurant. So it worked out to where, I only, it was horrible naturally because restaurants at that point, in the beginning, they had to close down, they didn't start having the leniencies until a little bit later. It was only like a couple months, March, April, May, June, like 3-4 months versus it
Mhm.
could have been 18 months because we know how long COVID went. So I say like, people need to really, really pray about it and make sure you're hearing from the Lord and doing what he's calling you to do. That's what led me to start Jump Ministries, because it's funny, again, going back to that colors assessment, with me having an orange mindset, I have business ideas pop in my head left and right all day, every day. If I hear people talking about a business and I think it's a great idea, I love to invest. So I'm an investor. So I'm always like, oh, tell me about it. Let me see your business plan. If it makes sense, like I'll invest in it. So it's one of those things where for me, it was like, okay, you know what? Like, obviously I'm doing something right. I don't got it all figured out by any means. I'm still a very young entrepreneur, but I believe a lot in educating yourself, definitely continuing education classes. Your tribe needs to be wise. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So you need to make sure you
Preach.
have,
Preach.
maybe around people that will support you and build you up, and that will tell you when you're wrong. And so for me, starting Jump Ministries, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of groups out there that are charging for business coaching and all these things right now. And I'm like, who can afford that? Like, what? We're going through a pandemic. So I started doing it for free and I loved it. It became like, oh my gosh, it's just like it filled me. I just felt so full. And it was one of those things where I was like, you know what? You got to keep doing this, Gabby. Like, you need to keep taking 6 individuals a year and you need to keep mentoring them for free and helping them, because there's tons of resources out there. To answer your question, there's, workforce development centers in every little town. The Johnson County Workforce Development Center is fantastic. There's small business centers. There's, there's programs like Launch Joco and Launch Raleigh, Launch Nightdale. These are all programs. Athena's a huge one that you can get involved in. They have a program called Athena PowerLink. Well, they will mentor you for a whole year with people that are just amazing, multimillionaires or lawyers, doctors, judges, people, anyone you name it. And they mentor you for a whole year and give you resources and help you grow your business. So I would say, like, all these things are out there, but the first step is to obviously pray about it and make sure whatever it is that you're thinking of doing, that it's truly what God's called you to do and that you're hearing from him clearly.
Yeah.
If you are, then the next step would be to do, like, to get in my program like Jump Ministries for free and mentor for a while, or Athena, or all the ones I named, and then start putting it all together and then formulating your plan, your business plan, all that good stuff, of course, and then go for it. But it needs to make sense.
God, okay, so this is a divine encounter. Because I literally have been praying to the Lord and seeking the Lord about a lot. And so I'm definitely interested, and I would love to share this with my community, because I feel like people need to know what to do and how to do it effectively, efficiently, and in God's timing. Because sometimes some people go ahead of God and it's like, whoa, press pause. Education is better. If you know the wisdom and know what to do and how to do it, great. But let's take a step back and go back to the vision. Because see, God is all about order and decency. And so we can't go ahead of God. We have to fall back and remain humble, remain small, so that way we can be teachable. Because if we walk into these rooms of these millionaires, we don't know what to say. We don't have the elevator pitch. We don't have the business plan. We don't have the trademark. We don't know the knowledge. You look like you don't know what you're doing, which you probably don't. You probably don't, but you look like you don't know what you're doing because you're not professionally ready. You're not prepared. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to
the first impression.
And there you go. And so that's why I feel like it's so important to reach out to community, because see, if I would not have taken a leap of faith and said, oh, because the Lord only shows me certain people that could be on the podcast. I can't just invite just anybody. It has to be certain people that he'll highlight and say, yes, I approve. Go reach out. I said, okay. And if they say no, no problem. I love you. No problem. But when people do, it's like, oh, wow, they heard the Lord too. Because I know people are not going to just do anything just to do something. They have to hear from God themselves. And so I look forward to when people realize your circle matters. Like, who you surround yourself with and who you call your people, your village, it matters. So that's why I feel like the Lord will send you your destiny helpers at the appointed time when he sees you're ready. You may think you're ready, but the Lord knows when you're actually ready. And it's not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel uncomfortable. That's how he knows you're ready, because you're dependent on him to doing what he can only do, and that's miracles. So yeah, I'm excited.
Hard. If it's easy, something's not right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for you, because I'm definitely going to be joining that Jump Ministry, because this baby, My butterfly ambassadors, this is 8 years, sis. 8 years in ministry, and we've had community baby showers every single year. And everybody always asks me the same question. Like, Jaleesa, get loans. I'm like, I won't be in debt. I'm looking forward to getting grants, but I want to wait and make sure I have everything laid out correctly and write it out all the things and do it the right way. But I just was able to get gifted the LLC, and then I'm working my way towards the trademark, all the things, getting it legally done professionally. But I feel like sometimes when you're slow as a turtle, you take larger leaps into your vision because you're allowing the creator to move you not move yourself. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so I look forward to learning because I don't know everything. So I want to learn from people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, I always say I don't know everything, but I'm pretty sure I know someone that will have the answer. I don't know everything, but we'll figure it out. And you're smart too. You know, a lot of people ask that question about loans. That's one of the first things everyone asks me when they start the program. Like, I need the funding, I need the capital. I literally want to write a book called The $12,000 Business because people don't believe me when they're like, wait a minute, you did what? I literally opened my company 8 years ago with $12,000. That's it. That is
That
it.
that's a good that's a good startup. That's not good startup. That's not good.
Horrible.
That's
Horrible.
yes,
Because you have to
how
think.
is that horrible? That's good.
A storefront. So it'd be one thing if it was a home-based business or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh,
I
okay, okay.
I literally was working at this awesome catering company that I loved, and I was like, I had finished culinary school, gotten to my degree in hospitality management, culinary arts. Like I was just in love with the industry. Worked all in the industry, everything from sous chef, executive chef, catering director, research and development, all the things. And was like, you know what? I love catering. So I went and worked for a large company and was doing their catering, working in the back of the house, more in the office, overseeing their whole entire catering department, and
Wow.
loved it. However, they were doing some things that I just did not like, I did not align with, and I knew I had to go. And
Yeah.
I had never in my life quit a job, like just quit and not had a plan B ever. And I felt a situation had happened at work, and I knew in the moment, I was like, oh Lord. And the Holy Spirit was like, you got to go. And I was
Yeah.
just like, dear God. And I quit. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, I was driving home and I'm like, dear God, I just quit my job. I don't have a backup plan. I don't have another job. Like I would have had a job lined up if I was going to quit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I literally was stressed. At the time I was living in Clayton. I drove home, was like, I'm gonna go for a walk. So I parked in like downtown Clayton and was going for a walk through downtown and just trying to clear my head. I was praying. I was just like trying to just seek the Lord's will for like what is next, you know. And I passed this building and it has like a for rent sign out in front of it. And I'm like, oh, this is cute. Okay, well, whatever. And I just kept going. And then on the way back to my car, I passed it again and I felt the Lord tug at my heart and say, call that number. And I'm thinking, like, for what? Like, like, okay. So I called and his name is Jamie Goff, him and his wife, Karen. They answered the phone and I'm just like, hi, my name is Gabriella. I'm calling about the building you have, 436 East Main Street in downtown Clayton. He's like, yeah, it's for rent. And I'm like, okay, well, how much is it? And he's answering all the questions and he's like, what do you want to do in it? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I felt led in the Lord to call you. And he was like, interesting. Mind you, I didn't know he was a believer. I didn't know anything. So he's like, interesting. He's like, well, me and my wife, Karen, want you to go home and pray about it. Or he didn't know anything. He's like, I want you to go home and pray about it, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
And he's like, then you just give me a call back if you decide this is what you want to do. And I'm thinking, like, you just randomly telling people to go home and pray about stuff, which is, I mean, I do it all the time. But you get what I'm saying? Like, someone's calling about your building and you tell them to go home and pray about it. You're not even trying to make a sale. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
Right.
come and see it. Like, it's this square footage. Like, he wasn't trying to sell me or anything. Like, he was very, just go home and pray about it and
Right.
give me a call back if you're interested. Most people would have been forceful trying to get their building rented, not him.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I remember being like, okay. So the next day I prayed about it and it was like so clear. Like you were going to take all your skills that you learned in this industry and you're going to open up a cafe that just serves like light food with the coffee shop in the front. Because when I worked at Marriott, we had a Starbucks in the location, so I had to learn how to make Starbucks drinks. And then the Lord was like, so that's going to be the community part. At the front, I want you to put a little small cafe with a coffee shop in it, and then in the back, I want you to run your catering company. And I'm just like, what in the world? Like, okay, how? And girl, it was like that week. I literally, so this was right before Christmas. This was like December 11th or 12th, somewhere like it was like the next day when I woke up. I grabbed my laptop, I sat on the couch, and the Lord just started giving it to me, girl. I wrote that business plan in like 3-4 hours. I prayed about it. I called him back and he was like, I knew you was gonna be calling me, Miss Gabriella. And
Confirmation.
he's like, you ready to sign the lease? And I'm like, can I see the space? He's like, meet me up here. So I met him back up there, looked at the space. We went to McDonald's on 70, signed the lease. And long story short, that was like December 11th or 12th. We opened January 14th, less than 30 days. Yeah.
Abby.
Less than 30 days, or a little bit over 30 days. I mean, a little bit over 30 days. And literally, like, I put the coffee shop up front, just like the Lord said. And I figured out later why he had me do that. You know, obviously, not everyone needs catering every day. You know, that's not something that you just go in a building ordering, but people drink coffee. And at the time, there was no coffee shops hardly downtown Clayton. And so the Lord knew, like, I need to get her name out there, and you know she's gonna need to meet people and connect with people. And so a way to do that is through food and beverage. And so the coffee shop got very, very popular, and then people saw that I did catering because we had our marketing up, and they're like, oh yeah, can you cater this for me, can you cater that for me? Well, fast forward like 2 years later, we got so busy with the catering, I didn't need the front part anymore, the little coffee shop anymore, because we were just so busy. We couldn't keep up with both. And so I closed that little portion off, kept the whole building, turned the front into our catering and event planning studios where the guests could come in, sit down, and grow. The business just grew. Like, we ended up buying and investing in all of our stuff, our linens, our china, like everything we ended up investing in, so you could literally come in and plan like your entire event from start to finish in that location. And then the back was all of our offices, and then we just grew year after year after year to where now we just bought our new office in Anger. And you know what's hilarious? It was his old house.
Stop playing with me, Gabby.
Oh,
Stop
so
it. What?
So we still rent. We still rent that building in downtown Clayton. We won't let it go. We want to keep it as a community spot where people can come and it's inexpensive and they can have Bible studies, book clubs, whatever they want, small events, baby showers, and it still feel the love of God when they come in and feel that comfort and that happiness and joy when they come in that building, because that building is anointed. And it's funny, when he remodeled the inside, he said him and his wife wrote scriptures all on the beams and the wood, all underneath the drywall. And so we keep that location. But when we were like, we got to move out of here, we need more space. I called him and I was like, Mr. Goff, do you have anything else? I want to buy something. And he's like, yeah. He was like, me and my wife are moving from our house, which is right in the heart of downtown Anger, where all the businesses are. It's right there. And he's like, you want to see it? And we fell in love with it. We bought it from him, and he remodeled that house too. And all the scriptures are in the walls. And it was just God's timing. It just lined up over and over and over and over again.
You are such a remarkable, amazing young woman. I remember coming to you guys before we got married, and I am in love with that place because the food y'all cook so good. All the taste testing you guys let us do for the wedding, and then I don't know if you guys still have it, but I remember like a flower or garden outside, or it was somewhere you guys let us go outside to go.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. And you're right, it's anointed. It's so full of peace, so full of love. And when you walk in, you just feel like your family. You just walk in,
Yeah,
it feels like your home,
absolutely.
like a reunion, or I don't even know how to explain it all the way, but you just feel the Lord. His presence is
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
And I'm so proud of you guys. And I have seen the Andrew one. I just haven't had a chance to go inside of it yet. But Oh my gosh, that is such a remarkable testimony. I'm ready to buy your book because that's going to bless everybody. Because that is amazing.
But I'll do it sometime.
That is amazing. Because what?
I know.
Like,
But yes, to answer your question, girl, that is not a lot of money when you have a building,
so
because you
what?
got your and you got insurance, and then you've got staff, and you've got I had to buy all the equipment because we put a coffee shop up there, so like an espresso machine's like $3,000 to $4,000 alone
Okay,
for
now
a
I see what you're
commercial
saying.
team. And then you got to get your permits with the
Oh,
town
that's right.
and so that 12,000 girl went like that. And so I was literally faithing like the next month, like, dear God, I pray we sell a lot of coffee or else I'm not getting paid. These staff aren't getting paid. Like, we're going to be shut down before we even get going. Never missed a beat, girl. Never a beat. The Lord provided time and time and time and time and time again. Everybody always got paid. There was never a problem. But I remember literally, this is something I don't really share a lot, but I remember when the bank account finally dwindled down to $300. And I was like, dear God, I don't have enough in here in this business account to pay my staff. And my staff is getting paid in like 2 weeks. What am I going to do? 2 weeks came. The Lord provided. We never missed a beat. All the bills have always been paid on time, even through COVID. Like, God has always provided. I mean, it was crazy. I remember that day that they get paid the 15th and the 30th. I remember the 15th being like, dear God, and looking in the bank account and being like, how? How is there like $5,000-$6,000 in here? Like, how? You know, we were selling coffee and chicken salad sandwiches. Like, how?
The
So,
Lord. Oh, he's so good. That's why it's so important to do things diligently, like to be
yeah,
obedient. Because of your obedience, see, there's favor attached to your life, beautiful, because you were obedient to God. He told you what to do. You called. You were scared, but that's okay. You called, and then you did see, when the Lord's about to bless you, there's instructions. So the gentleman said, go home, pray about it, and then when you had confirmation, you call me back. That was an instruction from the Lord through Mr. Golf. You did that. Then you signed the lease. You was like, oh Lord, but I'm signing this lease. You kept going in faith. And because of that, that's all the Lord needs. When you have that faith, even if it's a mustard seed, God
yeah,
will bless you and He will favor it. So, yeah,
right.
I am so excited. Like, oh my gosh. So, just to kind
And
of wrap up,
too, because like, you what you're doing like is amazing, and you need to know that too. When you have that full confirmation from the Lord that it's time to jump and that he's going to see you through it regardless, whatever you think, your doubts and stuff like that, you got to do it. And it's scary. That's the main thing, is I try to tell people that I mentor, is like, it is very scary, but the Lord didn't give us a spirit of fear. And so if you're feeling that fear, that's just you. But God's already laid it all out. He's already sees everything he's going to bless you with. He just wants to know if you're going to be willing and humble enough to step out and do it and listen to him and get out your own head. So I would encourage you, you do it, girl. Like, if you want me to mentor you, I will gladly mentor you. We need to get all your stuff that the Lord has given you done. You're going to be successful because
I'm
you already
here.
are. You're
I'm here for
doing
it.
God. You're already doing the Lord's work now. You have no idea what the Lord has in store for you. You're already doing his work each and every day with your podcast and being faithful and having people on to try to spread and glorify his kingdom. You have no idea what the Lord's going to do in you.
Wow. You're going to make me cry, girl. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful because I've known you for years, and
Yeah.
you're gonna make me cry. But I'm so excited to jump with Gabby because I know what God is doing. He sends the people that he knows you need. And I'm not afraid to say I need help. I need even more understanding. I need more wisdom. I need more developer wisdom. I need business franchise understanding. I need legacy builders. I need investment portfolio people that I understand capital well. I want to be able to market well and manage my team well when I have staff. Like, I want to be able to bless people, but have the wisdom to know the budget and stay to budget. And I want to learn. I want to know what to do, when to do it, how to do this, but in his
Right.
time. But I don't want to prolong it, but I do want to do things in excellence, because I feel like when you have the spirit of excellence, you're never going to fail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
100.
But I love you. I gotta respect you because you have a meeting at 7. So I love you and I am so grateful for your time. It means a lot to the podcast family and the Butterfly Master Ministries. I love you forever. And mama, tell Mama Barbara, I'm gonna hug her when I see her. Ooh, I'm gonna just kiss her. But I love y'all so much, and I'm gonna definitely check you guys out. The Inger one up the street because they're not far from our house, and then I want to go back to Clayton just because the memorabilia, just the love of God is there. And I definitely want to check out Mood Food because I need a smoothie. I need some healthy. I'm here for that. So yeah, I'm so excited. But before you go, please tell the God Did It podcast how they can reach you, book you, and just sow into you in Jesus' name. How can we do that?
Yeah, so you can always reach out to me on social media, Gabriella Terry. You can search for me on Instagram. It's that girl Gabs. Facebook, it's just Gabriella Terry. TikTok, that girl Gabs. And let's see, business wise, you can always email me. It's Gabriella.Chefellas. So that's CHEFELLAS at gmail.com. And I'm always here to help. You can always reach out to our office and call me anytime, 919-359-2884. And I appreciate you guys having me.
Yay! Well, we love you so, so, so much. And thank you to all the people that have been a podcast rock with me for the 8+ years in ministry and also the podcast. I'm super excited because God's doing some big things. I told y'all we coming with the bang. We got the one and only Gabby on the ones and twos tonight. Like, we are lit. I told y'all, we coming through the come through. We ain't playing. 2024 is not done. So we're coming with the bangers. So y'all get the knowledge. She has dropped so much wisdom. So please write it down. Go back, rewatch it because the Lord is right before you. This is wisdom from the Lord. Y'all don't take this lightly. Write it down. Meditate on this and pray to the Lord. Pray to God because He has you. Your purpose to be here. So whatever's on your vision board that y'all ready for 2025, y'all ready for the resolutions? All right, let's go ahead and put it in application mode and get ready. Quincy, what's up? I gotta get you on the podcast too, bro. What's up? Hey, Quincy. Hey, Tamika. Hey, everybody. God bless you. Make sure I support Gabby. She is phenomenal. Book her for your events. She usually gets booked up really fast, so do it in advance because she's a mighty good queen. So, y'all, check out my girl. She's amazing. And if you guys want to support the ministry, the Venmo is Butterfly8JC. Yes, Jesus Christ, but my name. It's so cool, right? It's so cool. So I love you guys. You already know what it is. Minister Lisa Cocktail, the God Did It podcast. We talk about raw authenticity. We talk about rare discipleship. We talk about real results only done by God. So you already know. What's up, Quincy? What's up, Quincy? What's up? So I love you guys so, so much. We'll see you soon. Isn't she amazing? I'm telling you, Gabby is everything.
Was at Marriott. And I never would have known working with Quincy. That's where I learned my whole barista skills. Like,
Oh,
I think
Quincy.
Quincy like trained me how to make coffee. I don't remember. But yeah, like I was brand new. Him and what was her name? Quincy Naima, I think was her name. I
Ooh, that's a
forget.
pretty
But
name. That's a pretty name.
Quincy like trained me on how to make coffee.
Gabby, you remember Devin at Wait Tech?
Devon?
I'm sorry. I can always do that. I always call him Devin. I'm sorry, Devon. I do that every single time. He be like, Jalisa, now you know my name. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I love him too. He's my brother too. I can barbecue from him sometimes. So
Oh, he can cook. Oh, I love all y'all. I gotta have. Oh my gosh. Pray about this, y'all. Can we do like a like a chef spinoff? You know how they have like a cipher when they rap battles? Can we do a chef? Like, oh my gosh, I would definitely eat all the food and make sure people support you guys.
yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And we could even make it like a community involved. We could literally like cook and then literally just take the food and go feed the homeless. You know what I
I'm
mean?
down
Do
with that
something
too.
like
Oh, I think the name is wrong. I think he said it's Nona, not Naima.
now. That's right. I'm like, no, Naima, something. Oh my gosh.
That's a nice name. Naima's a nice name. That's not who that was. I'm so sorry.
One of my old chefs. I don't know, girl. No.
Well, we love you, Gabby. You enjoy a phenomenal evening. Enjoy your next meeting, and I pray that you have an abundant Christmas. Surprises are coming for you. That's what I keep hearing the Lord say for you.
Oh,
surprises are coming for you, Gabby.
I
So
to hear
yeah.
that. But there's something specifically that I have been praying for a really long time. So I am hoping that when you say that, it is exactly what I think it is. And I am praying and staying faithful and holding on to God's promises and believing that's what it's for. So,
Okay, so this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing, it is my daughter, believe me. That's what I'm hearing for you. I literally just heard, it is my daughter, believe me. So, congratulations, whatever it is. Congratulations to you. You deserve it. So,
it made me cry.
I had to be obedient, but yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll tell you the rest after we get off. But yeah,
Okay.
congratulations. But yeah,
Thanks for having me.
of course,
Bye,
I love you so much. And mwah, love you guys
y'all.
so much. Yahweh. Peace. Bye.
Bye.